Okay, everybody, here we go. It is Thursday, December 15, 2022. Okay, what happened today? Kind of an ugly sell-off, but okay, so freaking what? The drivers of this market remain pretty much stable here. You remember several weeks ago, a couple months ago, we were getting these insane gyrations in the debt market, the 10-year yield all over the place. Well, it's very stable here. As a matter of fact, the 10-year yield today dropped. The MMRI, absolutely stable. The fly in the ointment was the dollar. The fear reaction that we see all the time. Okay, big freaking deal. So the Dow Jones Industrial Average finished down about 750 points. We were down almost 1,000 earlier in the day. Some buying towards the end of the day occurred here. What does this mean? Is it over right now? Is this the beginning of a market crash? How about no? Okay, the MMRI people, listen to me. Okay, you can do what you want with this, but the MMRI is saying absolutely freaking not. Volatility? Absolutely. But there's nothing going on here, all right? We got the Federal Reserve, the European Central Bank, the Swiss National Bank, and the Bank of England all doing the same thing in lockstep, okay? 50 basis point hike, 50 basis point hike, but they don't coordinate. This is completely 100% by chance that this just happened to occur like this, because central bankers do not coordinate according to Federal Reserve yellow-stained, disgusting, putrid, vomitous thing, Jay Powell, okay? It's an absolute joke. It's another lie that's being sold to the people of the world. And what are people doing about it? Nothing. They're sitting back and they're taking it straight up the gabagool, and I mean straight up the gabagool here. It gets worse than that. We found out today 63% of American households live paycheck to paycheck. That's how they're dealing with this. Industrial production cratering worldwide. Okay, but we're doing great and we're doing fantastic here. People are they're maxing out their credit cards. And according to TransUnion here, defaults continue to rise. Look, you couldn't wish for, hope for, or have a nightmare worse than the current situation that is unfolding with regard to the economy and the people of the world. But that does not mean in any way, shape, or form that this freak show stock market, let me explain this to you real quick. None of this is real. None of it is real. The entire central bank run global financial system, it has no basis on anything real. It's just like fairy dust. It's not on the elemental chart here. It's all based upon quadrillions of dollars in derivatives. For every $1 of actual cash that exists, there may be $1 trillion of leverage on it. All right, no one knows. So this whole thing is literally where no man or no freaking woman has ever gone before in the freaking history of the world. Nothing is real, people. I've been telling you this since time immemorial here. You think this whole thing has any basis on something real? No, it absolutely does not. And gauging from what we are looking at, understanding the drivers of this market, today's sell-off, and even if we sell off tomorrow, the next day after that is nothing. If the drivers remain stable, and central banks, people, mark my words, I don't care about what this, that, or the other thing may actually show you. What's happening here is central banks, first of all, let me let you in on a little secret here with regard to central banking. They also exist in an imaginary world where they can just create cash magically out of thin air with an obscene amount of leverage behind every single dollar which may actually exist, or euro, or any other freaking central bank issued note here. It's all fake. Once you understand that, I think things are going to become more clear to you. And not just that, you must be aware of what's happening here. I have outlined for all of you for freaking years, okay, that at one point we were going to face a moment like this, and it's materializing right before our eyes. A complete global economic meltdown. And it's getting progressively worse, faster. Meanwhile, regardless of a sell-off that we had here in the U.S. stock market, it's just nothing. Do you think that there's a connection whatsoever between, let's just say, the S&P 500, the Dow Jones Industrial Average, or the NASDAQ to reality as to what is happening here on the ground? No. The global economy it's not just contracting. It's just in free fall. And that free fall is going to get a lot worse here as loan defaults get much, much worse here as people start to have to pay the freaking piper. The people themselves, in aggregate for the most part, are living in some kind of dreamland-induced non-reality state, and they're just swiping those credit cards to get by here. And 99% of them have no net worth. If they were to zero out what they owe and what they continue to borrow, getting greater and greater as to what they actually have against their own assets or even income, whatever it might be, they're in the negative. This is how the society today operates. And it just plays right back onto this entire twisted freak show system that has no bearing on reality whatsoever. Look, all the data, all of it is fake and it's manufactured. Balance sheets of corporations and the Federal Reserve, central banks, they're all fake. It's not real. These things are put out there for people to look at, publicly. For example, the Federal Reserve's balance sheet, or whatever they're doing, but it's not real. Not only is it not real, you're not even allowed to see the off-balance sheet, whatever the freak they're doing, off-balance sheet. And it's unbelievable. So just sit back and realize that you're living in some kind of a reality that does not even really exist. Maybe it exists in your own mind, but it's not real. And that's really I think the one conflict people maybe have, and why people have been kept in this dumbed down state. They have no clue as to what's really going on whatsoever. None. Absolute zero. Anyway, with all that, with what's going on, the continuing bad economic news, the stunning admission right out of the Bank of England, Federal Reserve, ECB, all of these central banks explaining that the economy it's not your imagination here, people. The world economy is getting worse. People are in debt beyond their freaking eyeballs. Inflation is going to remain sustained for the foreseeable future. But then you're going to have this propaganda ministry and that propaganda ministry and the other one tell you that what you're seeing is not freaking real. How many years have some of you been with me? And how many years have I said that same thing? I hope you get it. I really, really do. The only thing that's real with regard to the financial system is this. Hard assets. Henceforth, why you have the super bank, Goldman Sachs, telling their clients to buy commodities because commodities are real. The rest of it's fake. All of it. I tell you, man, it's so twisted. The whole thing is so beyond belief. The largest, biggest Ponzi scheme that has ever been created in the history of the world. And I'm telling you right now, we haven't seen anything that's going to get much, much worse here moving forward. And at one point, people, you know how real this is going to be. I hope you have just the slightest clue, realizing that nothing is real, that the entire financial system is just a house. It's a house of cards built over a pool of gasoline that is going to go up in flames like overnight. But we know when it's going to occur. Okay, today's stock market sell-off and the fear trade with the knee-jerk higher in the dollar. Meanwhile, you got a 10-year yield stable here. You got an MMRI sitting about 224. We know where the red line is. It's 300 people. We had Nick the Pig, the Oink Man. Oink Man floated out with Mary Dolly, the gender-confused Fed president. They have no idea what they're doing. All these people is some kind of sideshow act where they float these things out to try to convince people yet again that everything's just going to be fine. And it is not going to be fine. And I would imagine that most of you here would have to agree. At least 63% of American households living paycheck to paycheck, and they don't even have, like I said, better than 90%. It's probably closer to 99% of the people out here have a zero net worth. Zero. It's negative. It's actually negative net worth. It's amazing how we can function like this, but we do because that's the nature of the beast. It's a debt-based economic model, and you all know that. I've been ringing that alarm bell since day one, over a decade. Anyway, look, I don't give a damn, really. With regard to this market here, until I see the driver, the number one driver of this market, and that is the debt market itself, implode, I don't care. Nothing else matters. I will continue to bet against the debt, become my own central bank, and buy this market here. I've never been short this market, okay? Well, not never. For a very, very long time, I have been buying this market here, and it's been paying off. Buying the dips here, I think that's the way to go. Now, you are clearly entitled to make up your own mind here, and you do have to have some kind of firepower behind you. And this is not for everyone. Look, you want to play the market, you want to trade this market. Unfortunately, it's a game that needs to be played or is played by people who have some type of means. You understand? You can't just dabble in it. Either you become that thing or you don't. For the most part, people should stay away from this. They should be betting against the debt, becoming their own central bank, hoarding silver, my most favorite asset of all time here. The most undervalued asset in the history of the world, in my view. But you got to understand what you're looking at. A system that is not real. It's an absolute fantasy land where every single actual printed or digital dollar is leveraged probably 1 trillion times. And I'm not making that up. If you were to look at the global derivatives market, it's in the quadrillions, or no one may even be more than that. People don't know because there's no way to judge. All we know is this entire fake, fraudulent Ponzi scheme is being run by runaway central banks who are hell-bent in becoming the lenders and buyers of last resort and have no intention whatsoever to stop inflating. If a central bank, one, stops inflating, every single one collapses. They are now pushing us all off of a cliff faster and faster to implode the current system. But we have tells. We don't have to guess. 10-year yield, US dollar, the global bond market here, and the MMRI. Like I said, you do what you want with these things, people. But you don't have to sit back here and just, float around here like a ship without a rudder. We know what we're doing. We know why we're doing it. And understanding the system is really key, okay? Anyway, look, I think you got it. I think you got everything here in this particular video. Let's move forward. On the back of this sell-off here in the stock market, you had gold and especially silver falling under pressure. Cryptocurrencies falling under pressure. It was pretty much a pan sell-off today. Even crude oil took a little bit of a hit here. Okay, knee-jerk higher in the dollar. Classic fear trade. But the debt market is insane, a damn thing. And until it does, yes, we can have markets that go up and down. It doesn't consistently always just go up here. It's normal for markets to fluctuate. Anyway, you really got to get your heads around this and understand what's happening here and realizing that none of it is real. And once you get your head around that, when you wake up every day and understand that everything is nothing has a bearing on reality, understanding that It's just so twisted and upside down and backwards. And realizing, again, where central banks are pushing the global population, wiping out an entire class of people, making life harder and harder for these people every single day. Middle class people. Meanwhile, the 1% and 2%ers are doing better than they ever have. The people at the lower rung, they're already done. You got prime members of the middle class who believe they're still in the middle class, borrowing beyond their eyeballs, assuring themselves a seat on the shit train straight down the rat hole into financial obscurity. That's where they're going. That's what this entire thing is designed to do. So forget about the bullshit, dog shit, cat shit, reptile shit, ant shit, that they're going to fist feed you via the propaganda ministry, CNBC, Bloomberg, Fox Business. Ignore it all. And just don't deviate from our plan, which has been very simple, to realize that all of it, is going to get very real at one point. And that time is going to be an implosion here in this global Ponzi scheme where real assets like commodities are going to skyrocket. But they're not done. They're not done inflating the system. They need more people dependent on the system. When they feel, the powers that be, central banks, the real governing body of the world here, okay, when these institutions and their puppet masters, okay, feel the time is right, that is when they're going to pull the plug. And you're going to see things like global bonds sell off so fast, people's heads are going to spin around like the freaking Exorcist. You're going to have bond yields spiking around the world in an uncontrolled fashion with no end in sight here. The MMRI to skyrocket. Who knows? It could go into the thousands. And this is going to sweep the globe. A pandemonium across the world as people scramble to try to survive. I'm telling you, people, be ready for it. Be ready. Anyway, that's where we stand. I hope I made some sense to you with this particular video. If you got anything out of it, I'd appreciate that thumbs up. I'd appreciate you sharing this video. And I would appreciate your comments here. What did I say? Have I said anything here that doesn't kind of click with you? Did a few bells maybe go off? Or is Greg Mannarino completely detached from reality? I really do want to hear your take on that. All right. Love you a lot. I will see you in the morning. That's all.